What is going on, everybody? Welcome back, Dudes Who Bet Daily, April 27, 2023. Happy NFL Draft Day. After literally a month of just wild and crazy rumors over who's going to go number one, a Reddit thread that caused Will Levis steam, and just uncertainty in the 2 and 3 picks. We're finally going to find out tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern where everybody is headed. Pop, dude, you're a big college football guy. We've got 5 quarterbacks that are probably going to go in the first round here, right? Hendon Hooker looks like he's going to be a late first-round draft pick based on what everyone's saying. Of those 5, how many are busts?
Busts?
Straight-up quarterbacks that you don't think
well,
are
let's see.
very good. You got Bryce
Of
Young.
the 5.
Bryce Young, Will Levis, Anthony Richardson, Hendon Hooker, and C.J. Stroud. How many of those 5 are busts in the NFL?
Logic says 3, maybe 4. They don't really pan out, do they? I was thinking about that this morning. You got Bryce Young, who's probably going to be the number 1 pick with the Carolina Panthers, and most people think Bryce Young's a great player. I would not want to play for the Carolina Panthers, would you? I just a lot of it, they go to these shitty teams. Mm-hmm. They get beat up the first couple of 3 years, and then they get hurt, and a lot of bad things happen to them. And that's part of it. You think about it, the really good ones are going to go to a really bad team. And that's, he looks like the real deal to me, but nothing's a given.
He's going to be assuming he goes number 1, which the betting market's now minus 2,000, as high as minus 4,000 earlier this week. He is going to be the smallest player ever drafted at number 1 from the quarterback position. So it's going to be true. Happens there. Since 2013, we've had 5 or 6 quarterbacks drafted in the number 2 spot. 5 of those 6 are busts, and the other one you could probably argue is. So it's been brutal to draft up to number 2, and I think you see a lot of people reaching there for quarterbacks. But to your point, Papa Dude, when you look at the organizations that could end up with quarterbacks here, everyone's assuming one. Obviously, Carolina, the Texans are most likely going to take a quarterback or Will Anderson at 2. Titans are rumored to trade up to number 3. They're going to take a quarterback. The Colts at 4 would take a quarterback. Not exactly organizations, Aaron, that are known for developing talent, especially when it's questionable talent. So you got to be concerned here if you're one of these quarterbacks going to one of these teams.
There's a big difference between the teams you listed on the 3 and the 4 spot versus the 1 and the 2 spot. Let's be clear about that. Your statement's not wrong, but I'm not lumping Carolina and Houston in with the Colts and in with the Titans. There's 2 teams that have had a lot of recent success. Well, at least in comparison to the first 2 teams you mentioned. So, if I'm sitting there and I'm a quarterback, let me fall to 3. That's okay. I'll go play for the Titans. I'll go play for the Colts. Listen, like Papa Dude said, you know what, Somich, last time we were together for the Breeders' Cup, we're talking about quarterbacks and how hard it is to project that position. That's the one position we both were like, man, it's just, we miss on them some, running backs and offensive linemen, defensive linemen. Usually if you think they're going to be good, they are. This position, it's just a weird one for me. You mentioned those 5. I'll go as far as say 3 of them will probably be busts because that's just how it goes. I couldn't tell you which 3, but that's just how the NFL is. It is so different from a quarterback standpoint to play in the NFL versus college, and we see it over and over and over.
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at some of the most the high-profile NFL quarterbacks now, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes went 7 and 10 respectively. I could have told you a lot of people who thought they were not going to be very good NFL quarterbacks. I was doubtful on Patrick Mahomes coming out of college, and he obviously is now the best quarterback in football and a generationally great player. So it is hard to project how these quarterbacks are going to go. From a betting perspective, one thing I really like right now, my best bet's going to come from the NFL draft at a plus money number, but Bijan Robinson is going to go top 10. You can get a minus 165 right now, and all this team is at Atlanta at 8's interested in him, Philly at 10's interested in him. Apparently the Bears may trade out of 9, and people will go up to get Bijan Robinson. A lot of people have him first or second on their draft board, but because he's a running back, he will not go that high. So that late top 10 area seems very, very logical here right now for Bijan Robinson. His under-over is 12.5. There's a little more juice on that, but he is up to playing the under. But his top 10, I think, at minus 165 is playable. Going to be interesting to see how this thing pans out and where everybody ends up. One of my favorite nights of the year, just because there's chaos. And this year, I think, is one of the more chaotic drafts that we have seen, simply because I don't think anyone really knows what Houston's going to do it to. Will Anderson is now the favorite to go second overall, but that draft market just got taken down. Detroit at 6, their draft market just got taken down. So even here, day of the draft, a lot of uncertainty of what's going to actually happen. Before we jump into today's games, real quick, the Heat beat the 5. Can we talk about that for a second? Like, we now have Heat Knicks in the second round. So Knicks fans are rejoicing everywhere because it looks like they may actually get a shot at the Celtics in the conference finals, assuming the Celtics get through the Hawks. We'll talk about that game in a second here. How big of a failure is this for the Bucks, Aaron?
I mean, it's bad, right? It's very, very bad. And, injuries played a part in it for sure, but they kind of did for both teams. I know the Milwaukee one may have been a little more serious, but to lose in 5 is crazy. And it seemed like, guys, they were going to win a few of those games and just totally fell apart down the stretch. So it's an epic failure. I mean, and we talked about this Heat team a lot, right? We didn't really like them coming into the playoffs. We didn't think they were playing all that well. And they pretty much dominated the series. Now, Jimmy Butler got incredibly hot towards the middle part of the series and really lifted the Heat to some incredible wins at home there. But still, it's a big-time failure. I am pretty shocked about this one, guys.
Yeah, the shot he hit at the end of regulation, while basically falling backwards, banking it home, with an all-timer there with 2 seconds left on the clock to send the game into overtime, and then somehow Milwaukee. I mean, they were up 15 in the fourth quarter, Papa Dude.
Yeah,
and just blew the lead. And then all of a sudden, the Heat team, I hate the Heat culture thing. I can't stand the playoff Heat thing. I don't think that's actually a thing where it's you have these situations where, just because Pat Riley is overseeing practice, this team is going to magically get better in the playoffs. But guess what? They have the number 1 offense in the NBA playoffs.
Yeah,
they were number 26 in the regular season, grouped with teams like San Antonio and Charlotte, and just these awful basketball teams. And somehow here we are, number 1 offense in the first round of the playoffs, and heading on to the second round to take on the Knicks.
Yeah, biggest shock in the whole playoffs, hockey and NBA both. This has got to be the biggest one. I had the Bucks sweeping them. I just thought they would. 5 at the worst.
Yeah.
And blowing that game last night. Butler has been unbelievable, but you know what? He's elevated the rest of them too. I mean, they're playing very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
All year long, we kept waiting for the Heat to start playing, and they never did. And I think we got to give a shout out to the Knicks too. They're pretty good. They were never threatened last night. They had an 8, 10, 12-point lead that whole game. Cleveland never did make much of a run at them. And I wasn't very high on Cleveland, but I thought they'd win last night. So the Knicks are one of those teams too. What the hell's going to happen in Atlanta tonight? Right now, I don't feel good about anything. So
that Celtics loss in Game 5 was just wild. I mean, just to blow that game the way they did, they were up 15 with 3 minutes left, and Trae Young just goes ice tray on everybody, pulls up from just inside the logo and hits a 3 to go up 1 late, or 2 late. Just wild right now in the NBA. We've got one game from there. We'll talk about it here. The Celtics laying 7 against the Heat, total sitting at 232.5. Papa Dude, what are you doing?
By the way, have you heard the call at the end of the game? Probably not. At the end of the game of the Miami Knicks game last night, the Miami announcer, I'm sure you can find it somewhere. It's hilarious. He was hilarious after the game. It's worth looking up later. I don't know what to do with these NBA games. Last week I was hitting every one of them, and now I can't get anything because it's crazy. And I don't think they beat them by 7 tonight, so I'm going to go the Hawks plus 7. I don't know what's wrong with the Celtics. This should have been a sweep too. It should have been, and it's not. And it's going to be tough to go down there and beat them tonight. It all revolves around the Hawks and how well they shoot. That's pretty much what it revolves around. So I'm going to take the Hawks plus 7, but I'm staying completely away from the game.
I'll lay it with the Celtics. I don't think that you're going to look. Trae Young is going to hoist up 30+ shots again tonight.
Yeah,
that's what he did, and that worked somehow in Game 6 or Game 5. Even though
he hit 14 of them.
He got 38 points on 33 shots. It's wildly inefficient. And yet still they were able to pull that game out. I'll take the Celtics minus the 7 here. I think you're going to get a pissed off Celtics team tonight. The big loss for the Celtics in all of this, they gave Embiid 2 extra days to rest.
That's
Game
true.
1 would have been Saturday. He would have had a knee problem. I don't think he would have played game 1. Now he may play game 1. That could be an issue for the Celtics moving down the road. Aaron, what are you doing with this one?
Celtics big. They'll dominate tonight. I think they win by double digits, honestly. I don't think it'll be a close game. I listen, I've seen Trae Young play for many years. When he shoots like that, forget it. You can't guard him. And he just got on a crazy roll. But the thing about it is he may come out tonight and do it again. He may come out tonight and not be able to hit anything. And guess what? If he doesn't, it won't be a game. And so I'm going to go the Celtics. They're a much better team. I'm not going to panic yet. So give me Boston. I still think they're the best team in this thing right now.
All right, let's head over to the ice here. We got the Lightning taking on the Leafs. Somehow the Leafs up 3-1 in this series. Aaron, we were texting back and forth for game 3 and game 4. The Lightning were the better team in both of those games. And yet somehow the Leafs won both of those games. Now they get a chance to get out of the first round at home. Aaron, what do you like tonight?
Listen, I was rolling in the NHL. I could not miss. I was hitting them like crazy. The last 2 nights, 0, nothing. And not even losing, just like, how did I lose? Like, this is crazy. I thought with everything I had, the Lightning would beat the Leafs. They dominated them, and then they lost the game. They're at 4-1 and blew it. And ever since that happened, I have just been over. The 2 games last night, just shocking to me. Now we get back to this one. All signs are pointing towards the Leafs to win this game. They're back home. They got those 2 big wins. For them, the pressure has lightened considerably. It's still pretty high because they are the Toronto Maple Leafs, but it kind of feels like, okay, here's the night we get through this first round. This is a really easy opportunity. I'll take that logic. I'll take the Leafs. I'm not betting the NHL tonight. Forget about it. After what I've seen in that last 2 nights, I'll watch a couple of nights before I get back in that market. But give me the Leafs as far as my pick goes.
Yeah, one of my biggest series bets is Leafs minus 145 before this thing started. I have no interest in betting this game with that series bet on the line. This is a game where if you're the Leafs, you really want to win tonight because game 6 is going to be tough to win in Tampa. And the last thing you want to do is come home for a game 7 when you were up 3-1 and it's 3-3 and you're playing in Toronto with this massive elephant on your back, not even a monkey because that's too small of a description. It's just a massive amount of pressure in that game 7 if it goes there. I think the Leafs get it done tonight, but I'm not willing to lay the minus 155.
Well, I know I feel the same way. You guys do for sure. You got to think. I know it doesn't work this way. The Lightning have to be deflated, don't they? I mean, they have to be. They should be up 3-1. Mm-hmm. And they have let 2 games get away. And now they know they're going to have to win 2 games in the other team's building. Plus, got to win at our place where we blew 2. They've got to be deflated. I think the whole key to the game tonight is Toronto has got to score first. If they can score first, I think that eases a little bit of pressure off them. But if they somehow get behind, because we talked about it yesterday, Mike, if they lose tonight and they go to Tampa and lose game 6, oh my God, what kind of pressure is going to be on them in game 7 against a seasoned playoff caliber team with Vasilevsky in a game 7? You got to win. I would not want to be in that situation. So I'm going to take the Leafs tonight, but boy, I don't know. It's just the pressure just so immense on them.
And this Lightning team, not an easy one to knock out. Vasilevsky been very, very good in elimination games.
Yes.
On top of that, this is a seasoned Lightning team. I don't think they're going to be overly deflated because of game 3 and game 4. I think you're going to get a great effort from them here in game 5. Doc taking the under here in this game. I kind of like the under a little bit as well because I do think you're going to see a lower scoring first period, which should set up to keep it under that 6.5 number, highest total on the board. We'll see what happens in Toronto tonight, but that's going to be an awfully interesting game. Another one happening in New Jersey. The Devils were left for dead leaving home after 2 games, down 0-2, go to New York, take game 2, take game 3, take game 4, and we are 2-2 heading back across the river here. Papa Dude.
Thanks.
I like the Devils before the series started. I thought they were done. Cooked.
Yes.
Put a fork in them, a devil fork in them, literally. Now we're back here at 2-2. What do you do with this spot?
No idea. I mean, no idea. I mean, there's no trends in this. I mean, Rangers go into New Jersey, win the first 2. New Jersey goes to the Madison Square Garden, win the next 2. What do you do? I mean, the home team is due to win a game, right? I don't know what kind of vibe there are between these 2 teams and the other team's building. I don't know. I would think the Rangers would have a lot of fans.
They travel
in New Jersey.
I would say about 20% Rangers fans.
Yeah, so I would think that. I took the Devils tonight just because the home team's got to win a game sooner or later, but I think you definitely stay away from this one. I just do. The Rangers just cannot score, and it's killing them. So I took the Devils tonight, but I'm just going to sit and watch it.
This is an interesting series, Aaron. We talked about it after game 2, and we're like, the Rangers just look like the better team. But then you watch game 3 and game 4, and the Devils look like the better team. I'm going to stick with momentum here. Give me the Devils minus 115. I'll have not a full unit bet here, but probably about a half unit bet on the Devils. I think that I like them before the series. I lost some confidence in them. You watch them in the last 2. I believe they are better. And I don't like the Rangers pieces they picked up to add at the late part of this season. So it's whether or not you think Shesterkin's going to be able to really dominate in net. So I'll take the Devils minus 115 here. I think it should be higher, closer to minus 130 or minus 135. So I'll play that 20-cent edge. I think I have not for a full unit, but for about a half here. Aaron, what are you looking at?
Yeah, this is another one. I was just ready to pound the Rangers the other night because it's like, okay, the Devils got their game, but the Rangers are still the better team. They're going to win game 4. Listen, the Devils dominated game 4. I just will never understand why home ice means so little in the NHL. It means nothing, and it should mean everything. The crowds are crazy. You get the matchups you want, and it means nothing. In this game, or this series, I should say, the Devils got absolutely smoked. They weren't even competitive at home. It wasn't even close to even being a competitive series, and they flipped the script. I have no idea how they did it. It shouldn't be that way. I'll take the Devils tonight. I'm sure the Rangers will win. I'm 0-4 when picking this series, so I'm sure Rangers fans will be very happy because I'm picking the Devils.
Devils have to stay out of the penalty box. Kreider had 4 power play goals in the first 2 games in New Jersey. They can't let that happen. I mean, like Papa Dude mentioned, the Rangers have struggled to score. Keeping out of the penalty box for the Devils is the key in this one. If they are able to, I think they get the job done here. All right, let's head out to Las Vegas. The Jets taking on the Golden Knights. Knights trying to close this thing out in 5, up 3-1, laying minus 190 right now. Total sitting at 5.5. Papa Dude, we'll start with you. Who do you like here?
Golden Knights, they got to win, right? I mean, well, I thought Colorado was going to win last night too, so I got them tonight. I think the Jets are done. I think they needed to win a game in Winnipeg. They didn't get it done. So I think Vegas has got the inside track right now coming out of the West. So, they got to get through Edmonton. That's not going to be easy. But I'm going to go the Golden Knights tonight. I'm pretty confident in them.
Yeah, I like Vegas as well tonight. I think they close out a Jets team. And Papa Dude, I think, put it well. The Jets needed to get one of those 2 at home. When they didn't, it looks pretty bleak for them here. You're going to get a big effort from the Jets tonight, but I think the Golden Knights are the deeper, better team here. Aaron, what do you got?
One last stand for the Jets. Give me the Jets. No, I'm just kidding. Give me Vegas. I liked this Winnipeg team coming into the series, and they came out and they won a game in Vegas. I thought, okay, we're in really good shape. And then they went out and just played like total shit at home, like they always do. This Winnipeg team, they can't win at home in the playoffs. I mean, there's only one team worse than the Winnipeg at home in the playoffs, and that's a team we root for, boys. I mean, they can't win. They get big games at home, and they can't close them out. So they had a chance to go up 3-1 or at least bring it back 2-2. And it would have been a really competitive series. Now, I don't think so. Give me the Golden Knights.
All right, let's head to the race of the day. Head over to Keeneland here, race number 7. We're going to go a mile on the turf, $110,000 N1X allowance. I'm going to miss this Keeneland turf course. We're going to go over to Churchill here in 2 days, and no clue what that turf course is going to look like. As always, we're going to kick it off with our boy, Aaron Halterman. Who you got here in Keeneland 7?
Boy, yeah, you do say something kind of sad. Boy, I hope that Churchill course is good because the Keeneland course is very good and has been the whole meet. We'll see. All right, this is going to be a tough race. You've got the brown horse making first start in the United States, obviously one to look for here. But I'm going to go with the second choice on the board, the number 5, Be My Sunshine. This horse was a nice maiden debut winner at Gulfstream Park. Last time out, faced Allowance Company, got second, beaten by 2 1/4. Got beat by a horse named Well Into. Came back here last time out, Well Into did, and ran 4th in a pretty tough stakes race on Bluegrass Day there at Keeneland, and was a close 4th, only beaten a couple of lengths. Some real seasoned veteran stakes horses finished ahead of that one. So I kind of feel now third start here for Be My Sunshine. Second time against winners. I just think this is a spot where she's going to get it done. I like her a lot here. So I'm going to go with the 5. I got total respect for the 3, though. I get why anybody would want to play the 3, but give me the 5 in this spot.
I like the idea of trying to not bet the 3 to win here. Obviously, we're putting win bets in here on the race of the day. So generally, we're trying to find horses that we like, that we think can beat the favorite, because these are usually tough races that we're picking here. I have the 5 on top, Be My Sunshine as well. I'm not sure if I bet this horse to win. If I was going to bet a win bet here, let's go to the rail. Let's talk a little bit about Boudica. The second off the layoff here, and I went back and I watched that race last time out. Boudica just looked like a classic horse that needed one. If you go back and you watch it, the horse didn't break as sharp as probably wanted to, was 3 wide on the first turn, made a 4 wide move on the second turn, and then just kind of faded out, had a little bit of a kick in the lane, but not nearly what you'd expect. Now we get second off the layoff here for Jesse Carroll, 21% in this spot, $2.06 ROI. Rosario picks up the mount. I think you're going to see a lot better effort today from Boudica. 8 to 1, I think, is around where you're going to get. So if I was putting a win bet in here, I'd play it on the 1, but I do have the 5 on top as well. Papa Dude, what are you going with here?
I'm going to go with the 5 as well. 5's shortening up a little bit. Went a mile and the 16th in that allowance. Broke its maiden at 7.5. Back to a mile. I think that's good for the 5 as well. I have the 3 right there. I kind of looked at the 8, Miss Riddler, a little bit. Broke its maiden by 2+ lengths at Ellis Park back in July. Hasn't run since. Got Luis Saez aboard. Maybe one to look at it, 10 to 1. So I like 5, 3, 8.
We've got some love for the 7. So let's talk a little bit about this 7 horse. Dr. Tang likes the 7 for the upset, as does Dennis there. Real quick, I'm going to go ahead and just jump into Dr. Tang's mind because I know how he thinks. This is the horse he thinks is going to get the lead, right? Because the pace in this race is a little bit murky. And so the question of who makes the lead is the interesting one. I had the 6, which I'm using in my multi-race bets. Desert Tempest is the horse that makes the lead here, coming off a dirt race that was taken off the turf course there at Fairgrounds. The pace of the race before was a little bit faster. Now, to 7, Tammy Tap 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 coming out of back-to-back sprints, but off the pace on those sprints. So it'll be interesting to see where Tammy Tap 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 ends up, where Desert Tempest ends up. And I think Miss Riddler with Saez picking up the mount was the other one that could make the lead here. Aaron, what'd you think of the pace in this spot?
I think the 6 is going to be on the lead. I get the angle on the 7 though, because you are coming out of those sprint races, like you said. I think it will be one of those 2 that gets the lead. I trust the 6 a little bit more than the 7 in this spot. So if you're looking for a horse to go gate to wire, or at least get up there towards that front and have that I don't know what the word is, frontward trip, let's say. I think the 6 forwardly placed trip. Exactly. Listen, I'm very tired. Long day from traveling. I think the 6 is the one. I'm trying to think what jockey do I trust the most. Both of them pretty good with speed horses, 6 and 7. Yeah, give me the 6 to take him gate to wire if you're going to try to play that way.
So that's those 2, I think, are your pace plays. A lot of love for the 8 as well in the chat here. So it's going to be interesting to see what ends up happening here to kick off the race of the day. It's going to be race number 7 at Keeneland. All right, let's head over to the best bets. Papa Dude, we'll start it out with you. Tell us a little about this part of the 8.
Well, it was a tough day, I thought, to find anything of any value. So I'm going with the Knights. I'm pretty confident on them, but God, I was confident on Colorado last night. I just stunned. All of us had Colorado involved.
How about Boston?
Well, yeah, Boston couldn't pick. Oh, yeah, you had them in the parlay. Yeah. I was stunned too, but they weren't in my parlay because you stole it. I would have had your parlay for sure. Yeah, both of those games were stunners. But I like Vegas tonight. I'm going Toronto because it gave us a little bit of value. Logic says they should win. Logic doesn't mean shit when it comes to the Leafs. But I'm going the nice Leaf tonight because we're getting plus 146. If we can get this home, it's a logical bet. We'll be back on track.
All right, I'm going to head over to the NFL draft for my best bet. Give me the Dallas Cowboys first pick, a tight end. You've got two tight ends, Meyer and Kincaid, who are going to be on the board. I believe at least one of them, if not both, are going to be sitting there available at number 26. And the Cowboys don't have a tight end on their roster. And these are two good pass-catching tight ends, something that the Cowboys really like. Meyer specifically, if he's there, I don't see how the Cowboys don't take him. He's basically a Jason Witten clone. Both of these guys can block. Specifically, Meyer can block very well. I would be surprised if both of them are off the board by 26. And if either Kincaid or Meyer are sitting there, I would be surprised if the Cowboys don't use their first pick on a tight end. So you get plus 200 on the Cowboys' first draft pick at tight end. I think there's a ton of value there because based on where they're drafting, look, there's like 7 to 10 guys who you can really trust in this year's NFL draft. And then there are 70 players, which are somewhere in middling. These two tight ends are better than the rest of this class. If one of them is available at 26, it's where the Cowboys are going. I like this at plus 200 because I think it's as long as one's available, they're taking a tight end. So give me plus 200 on the Cowboys' first pick being a tight end. Aaron takes over to Gulfstream.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to go to Gulfstream. They're still running. Yes, championship meet is over, but Gulfstream runs pretty much 21-7 or 21-7. See, I am very tired today. I've got more shows to do too, so this is going to be a bad day for me. 24-7 they run. All right, let's go to Gulfstream Park, race 7, the number 2 here, Imanra. I think this horse for Safi Joseph Jr. is getting ready to run a pretty big race here. Last time out was the first start off of a little bit of a layoff. Listen, this filly ran really well, and it was a nose bob. I went back and watched this replay this morning to kind of firm up that I am going to pick the 2 horse here for the best bet, and it was just a nose bob. She should have broke the maiden. They galloped clear of everybody else in that race. Pretty good, couple of leaks. So I think with a repeat performance, she gets it done today. A couple of dangers are the 6 horse and the 8 horse, but both of them, even though they're for good trainers, they're trying dirt for the first time. They've been coming off of turf races. Now they're going to the dirt. Sure, one of them could take to the surface and just run a huge race, but I think it's more likely that they're just trying something, trying to get the horses a little bit on track after poor efforts. So I think the 2 makes a ton of sense in this spot. I think she gets towards the front and she kicks home, turning for home. So give me the 2 and the 7th at Gulfstream.
I love it. There we go. Best bets of the day. We're going to be back today quite a bit on the channel here. We've got dudes who bet, with Aaron and Papa Dude here, who are going to jump on a little bit later. What time's that, Aaron?
We're going to be on in 30 minutes, actually. 30 minutes from right now. We're going to be on at, it'd be, what would that be? Noon Central, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Open forum today. We've got questions ready, but if you have other questions, get in the chat, jump in. You can ask us anything, literally anything. We're going to talk about the Kentucky Derby a lot. We're going to talk about the playoffs a lot, but you got something random, jump in the chat. We'll answer it.
Aaron's going to go have a mimosa before that show, just about 30 minutes away. We got the Magic Mike show. It's going to be 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. We're covering the late pick 5 at Golden Gate. Obviously, talk about all the Derby news, including the unfortunate news about Wild on Ice this morning. And then, Aaron, you got a Blinkers Off coming today as well.
We've got Blinkers Off, and it is a very, very special one. 3 o'clock Eastern time, 2 o'clock Central. John White joins Blinkers Off. It's the annual John White interview. I know you're shaking your head. We have a hard out. We are going to be done by the time.
You're not going to be off by the time we start.
We'll be done. We have to.
No chance.
I promise we'll be done.
Yeah, over on that show is 2.5 hours.
That may be my best bet.
Yeah.
The over.
Well, I know he has a hard out at like 3 his time. So that yeah, it's going to be a long one today. No, I think Jared has a hard out too. So, but yeah, usually that is a very long show, but a very good and informative show. The good thing is I'm feeling off today, right? But I don't have to do a lot of talking on that show. Just ask a question and away he goes. So
that's a fair point. You will not be talking a ton during that podcast with both Jared and John on there. All right, let's go through the best bets of the day here, and then we will take off. We got Aaron headed to Gulfstream Park, taking race number 7, horse number 2, 2-1 on the morning line. Give me Cowboys, take a tight end first, plus 200. Papa Dude parlaying the Vegas Golden Knights and the Toronto Maple Leafs plus 146. Yesterday sucked because Colorado sucked, 0-3. We all run Colorado in some way, shape, or form. Down $80 for the year, but we'll be bringing it back. Make sure you are subscribed to Racing Dudes YouTube channel so you are notified when all these live shows go on today. Next week, going to be wild. We will be live for the draw on Monday. We'll be live Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday morning. We'll be live Friday, Oaks Day, during the Oaks card, and Saturday during the Derby card. So make sure you subscribe. Looking forward to seeing a bunch more people in the chat as we go through this. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see everybody tomorrow. Good luck with all of your draft bets and everything else you got going on today.